I want to talk about something that you addressed in this article in Entertainment Weekly. And I think this is one of the many reasons I love you. But there was a reporter who came up to you. You have to tell the story.
There was a reporter that after Tammy, we got a lot of challenging critiques from that movie, which I also learned maybe not to read any. But there was one who said a lot of things, and I met him at the Toronto Film Festival, and he actually said, I'm the one that wrote this, and he'd said, basically, I'm only a good actress when I look attractive, and that my husband shouldn't be allowed to direct me because he let me to look hideous in this movie. And it was a lot of things, and just like, kind of on how dare women not look beautiful, perfect, and attractive in a movie. And he came up to me, and I was surprised that he talked to me, and we were there for a different movie, and I said, you know, would you do that to a man? Would you, if John C. Reilly played a really broken down character and looked terrible, I said, I put a lot of time and effort into having her completely not look like she cared about herself. I said that was part of how she felt on the inside. I said, would you ever say that to a man? He goes, well, I mean, but you really looked bad. And then I said, do you have children? He said, I do. And I said, I hope you don't have a daughter. And I didn't mean that in a mean way. And I said, if she came home to you, and he spoke about his children so lovely. He was actually a really kind man and spoke about his son and his daughter with a lot of love and kindness. And when I said, if she comes home and someone says, you can't have a job because you're unattractive, I said, are you going to say, that's right? And he took that in his heart, and he was like, no, I would never want that to happen. I would never in a million years want that to happen. And I said, just know every time you write stuff, every young girl in this country reads that, and they just get a little bit chipped away. And I just think we tear down women in this country for all of these superficial reasons, and women are so great and strong. And I think he really heard that. That man was... But I think he heard it. I think, and thank you, but the writer was really loving, and you could tell he was a loving father. I think it's a bad habit that we've gotten into, and it's not that people are malicious. I just think it's so easy to take a swipe, but I'm like, just go the other way.
Yeah.
Build it up. I mean, I feel like that's what you do every day with your show. You put a little love and kindness in the world, and it does good things when you do that.
It's so much better to build people up.
It is.